Well, if you think back on social media, like over the last couple of years, and I feel like especially in my college years, there were people that used to sort of like fake soft launch a relationship where they would like have another hand in the photo and be like, oh yeah, that's my boyfriend, but it wasn't necessarily true. You just wanted to say that for social media.
This all seems terrible.
I know. Well, now it seems like the opposite is sort of happening. There are a lot of women out there that don't want their man featured at all on their social media because according to a British Vogue article, video that came out, there was a piece that argues that women are posting less about their partner and in some cases feel that simply having a boyfriend is culturally loserish. It's embarrassing to have a boyfriend now.
Here's what I would say. It's embarrassing to have an embarrassing boyfriend. And if that's the case, and if you find him to be embarrassing, maybe you shouldn't be with that person. Or maybe you should have the temerity to say, actually, I kind of like this embarrassing person and I'm going to be here for it and I'm going to take responsibility for that. I think that you got to go one of these two ways. You either got to get out because you find that, yes, this person is embarrassing, or you have to embrace what it is that that person is about that person that makes you happy and just go, this is my thing, it turns out.
I agree with you 100%. I think where the conversation, like I think boyfriends being embarrassing on social media specifically is like where this conversation is happening, because I feel like there was a time where a lot of women were attaching their whole personality to being in a relationship on and for social media, where they would only post about how amazing their partner is or how amazing their relationship is, whether or not it was true, just I think for the clout and like the look of not being alone. And I think now the more that you're posting about your relationship, the more you post only content about your partner and very little of it has to do with you, that seems to be what is being deemed embarrassing.
I think that's only part of it. I think that there is a big disconnect right now between the sexes, between men and women, and there is a lot of reason to maybe be embarrassed by certain things that other person's doing.
Sure.
And if that's part of it, then you just have to decide, am I in on this or am I out on this? But you shouldn't be embarrassed by it. You got to own it or you got to get out.
Yeah, more from that piece from Vogue. They say that many women referenced fear of needing to scrub all their posts if things end in that relationship, or being judged for being too coupled. Some say being single has become the new status symbol. Dating experts say that the issue isn't relationships per se, it's when someone lets a partnership define their entire identity. Those cases are seen as the embarrassing ones.
Yeah, I mean, when suddenly a couple is sharing a Facebook account and everybody's like, who cheated?
Yeah.
What happened?
I think it's sweet when like older couples share a Facebook account and I'm like, oh, that's cute. But yeah, I think.
But if you're like 25 or younger, it's pretty
a little
cringy.
Like, ooh, is that a red flag? Is somebody really controlling? Is that why we're sharing a Facebook account here? I think that, and I think the people that are always like around Valentine's Day or around their anniversary, they just post like the 10-page saga of like, there's ups
this
and
is how
downs
we
in
met,
every relationship.
and things can be hard, but we have managed through it together. And
when you talk about how hard the relationship is, it's a little like, are we sure?
Did we need that for public consumption?
Exactly. But speaking of relationships, maybe things do go south. A Gen Z employee is being talked about. Again, we talked a little bit earlier about Gen Z, millennials. They're from about 97 to 2012 is Gen Z. We're talking here, born those years. But a Gen Z employee requested for 10 days off after a breakup. And this has gone viral because their manager shared it on social media. And the manager was basically praising their honesty, saying that, I've never approved something so quickly because it was transparent and it was the most honest leave application that this manager had ever seen. It sparked more than 14 million views and highlighted a shift in workplace norms. Many loved the openness and mental health focus, while others questioned whether it was too unfiltered for a professional setting.
I don't know if it's too unfiltered for a professional setting. I think that if you have the PTO, it is your PTO to use. Your paid time off, you can use it how you want. I would say, if you feel like you need 10 full days off after a breakup, maybe get it together a little bit. That feels like, like I'm not saying that stuff can't bother you for a long time, but 10 days, I can probably count on one hand, less than one hand, the number of times I've taken 10 days off ever.
In a row. It's true.
And I think it might just be my wedding. Like, I think that might be it.
Yeah, maybe it depends on the nature of how serious the relationship was. Were they living together? Does it take more time to move all your stuff out? If you were...
Yeah, if there are extenuating circumstances like that, that might make a difference.
And that might be why you need the full 10 days, and maybe even why you brought it up at all. Because I feel like if you're kind of breaking up a casual fling and you're like, oh yeah, maybe I just need a little long weekend, cry it out, eat some ice cream and be okay, that's one thing. But I think maybe if it were a more serious relationship, or maybe you do have a little bit more to figure out when it comes to getting all your stuff, if there's pets, if there's kids, something like that involved, maybe you do need the full 10 days. But I like the idea of that transparency. That way your manager is usually on your side. They'll back you,
Well, whether they do or not, you're not like, I'm sick for 10 days. Like you're coming in, here's where it's at. I feel like I need this time off. I have the time available to me.
Yeah.
Now, I know that it depends on how fast you want that, because a lot of places aren't necessarily going to approve your time off for like, oh, starting tomorrow you need 10 days off. That can be a little tricky for the people you work with, but as long as you have the time off, I don't care whether it's for a breakup or because you want to go to the lollipop factory. You get to do what you want to do with your time off.
So head to the lollipop factory if that's what you want to do with your PTO. But I think it is an interesting conversation. We always like to hear from you too. You can chime in on our socials. You can chime in team@coastlife.com. We do have to take a quick break, but when we get back, we fell back an hour over the weekend. We've got some time-themed jokes on the way.